Every Thursday, I come out with my top 5 teams. Yesterday, we unveiled the bottom 5. My order changes a little bit this week based on the results last week, but I didn't get anybody new into the top 5. Let's start out with number 5. Your team, the Los Angeles Rams, off their loss at home to the Arizona Cardinals. Look, they had the big win over the Buccaneers. I had moved them up in the power ratings. Just not impressed with the way the defense played. They had another down game by the defense. They'll be tested tonight in Seattle, Amal.
I agree with you. It's going to be a tough game on the road, division opponent, quick turnaround. The defense really got exposed by the Arizona Cardinals. There were some question marks coming in. Losing Johnson was one of the keys back in that secondary. By the way, before you proceed with the rest of the list, do you have Tampa ahead of the Rams?
I do.
Okay, so you must be a voter in the AP poll, right? The wins don't matter to you. I get it. That's why Ohio State's ahead of Oregon in certain polls.
Do you believe Oregon's better than Ohio State?
I don't believe they're better, but if we're not going to go based on the result on the field, then why are we playing the games?
If you get to the end of the year, all the head-to-head results won't make sense because A beat B, B beat C, C beat D, D beat A.
No, I'm going head-to-head, buddy.
I understand.
Head-to-head. Well, you know what? Listen.
Okay.
Go ahead. What do you got, the Bengals up at number 1?
No. That's someone else from the podcast.
Gotcha. Okay.
Number 4, I'm looking at the head-to-head result. I have to put the Arizona Cardinals.
Of course, that's the correct call. Hell, they should be number 1. They're the only undefeated team in the league.
So they should be 3, and then the Bucs should be 5th in your mind.
Correct.
Because of the
actually, I think Arizona should be number 1. I already know this list is bunk.
I give you credit. Arizona Cardinals, very impressive. They're at number 4. I think they should have lost the game to the Vikings. They didn't. The Vikings missed the field goal. Impressed with their win. I think they'll continue on. They'll be 5-0. I think they'll beat the San Francisco 49ers this week. And they'll keep it rolling. Number 3, I had the Bucs. This was the debate for me between Arizona. What was I going to put them, 3 or 4? I still think a Super Bowl champion. They went to New England in the rain and all those conditions with Mac Jones completing all those little dinkety passes, and still Tom Brady was able to eke out the victory there. You have to give them credit for that.
Have to give them tons of credit. They played in the rain. New England somehow did not play in the rain in that same game. So give the Buccaneers a ton of credit for that road win when they're far superior than a rookie quarterback in that team that ran for about 5 yards in that football game.
Well, they're a team from Florida. They're not used to rain at all. Okay, number 2.
Only 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock every afternoon.
Number 2, I have the Buffalo Bills, who continue to impress, although be it against Division 1 AA opponent, the Houston Texans last week at Orchard Park. Still, you look at the Bills, they outgained the Steelers in week 1. They have the block kick, and then they just steamrolled the last 3 opponents. 2 shutouts. All the Dolphins and the Houston Texans. We'll find out how good the Bills are against my number 6 team on this list that didn't make it. I finally downgraded the Kansas City Chiefs out of the top 5. And my number 1 still, I thought this was an ultra-impressive performance. Hey, when your quarterback plays like doo-doo and you're still able to win in the Metrodome or in whatever that stadium is up there where they blow the horn and all that against Minnesota, the Cleveland Browns are the best team in football, Amal.
Look, I don't know how to say this without being offensive. Were you drinking before the show?
No.
Okay.
I had Cleveland won last week.
They put up a staggering 14 points. Baker Mayfield looked like he was playing against the 85 Bears, missing guys that were wide open. Austin Hooper, OBJ. Give me a break. Without Nick Chubb and Hunt, this team loses that football game. The Buffalo Bills, you mentioned the quarterbacks. I mean, future Hall of Famer Jacoby Brissett, future Hall of Famer, maybe potential accountant or lawyer Davis Mills out of Stanford.
Maybe a lawyer.
Maybe a lawyer, right? Yeah, if you go to Stanford Law School, I would recommend it. Come on, give me a break, man.
Who's your number 1? Arizona and the Rams too?
No, I am not saying the Rams belong at 2. All I'm saying is Arizona should be based on the wins that they have. Beat Minnesota, who's probably a team that's... Look, the Browns went in there and won. Arizona should have lost to them, but they won the game. They're 4-0, or what is it, 4-0 or 5-0? 4-0. They've done what they've needed to thus far. Okay? They've done the job. You can make the change. All I'm saying is based on the first 4 weeks. You're kind of projecting here with the Browns. And by the way, you know this pick? The Browns are not even winning their division.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Whatever you say, buddy.
They're going to beat Baltimore, all right?
They got to beat them twice.
They got to beat them once. Baltimore might stub their toe
along the way. And unlike Denver, John Harbaugh plays a full 60 minutes.
I thought his comment was he was going for a 16-point touchdown at the end.
That was wrong. He's wrong, though. Because you got a touchdown on a 2-point conversion, you get an onside kick, you can throw a Hail Mary and tie the game.
Yeah, I understand, but there was only 3 seconds left.
Is that all there was?
Yes.
I didn't realize. Okay, fair enough.
3 seconds at the end of the interception.
Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, fair enough.
But to your point, why wasn't Fangio calling time? He only used them in the last 30 seconds.
They would have gotten the rushing yardage total had he been using the timeouts. I said that earlier in the week. I said, why don't you call timeouts on defense?
Okay, I still give the Browns full marks and credit for the win in Minneapolis. The Vikings have moved the ball against everybody on their schedule. and they had an 8.5-minute opening drive. They went on fourth down, scored a touchdown. After that, they never got back to the red zone. You have to give the Browns defense credit.
I would agree with you there. To me, though, which vaunted defense were you thinking about when Minnesota moved the ball against? Was it Cincinnati or Arizona's?
Well, they moved it against both. Arizona a little better. I mean, they slowed the Rams down a bit last week. They're a little more balanced. Cincinnati hasn't been that bad on the defensive side of the ball. I question on the offensive side of the ball how consistent they can be. So we look at the current odds to win the Super Bowl now. Based on my list, the Browns at 14-1 would be a great bet.
I don't think it's a bad bet, actually. I'm giving you a hard time here, but in reality, I agree with you.
You don't think they're winning the division, huh?
Well, look, I think Baltimore is such a good regular season team. They just find ways. Lamar Jackson's very difficult, but in the postseason, it's a different ballgame.
Right now, if you look at these odds board, do you think there's a bet warranted here? I know you already bet the Rams to win the NFC prior to the season. Is there any other bet when you look at this board at the Super Bowl right now that you think's interesting there you might pull the trigger on?
How about the Dallas Cowboys at 20-1? I don't necessarily believe they're going to win it, but I think, remember, a couple factors. They're going to wind up as a top 4 seed because of their division. They've got a chance to even elevate that number. They're going to have a home game in the first round of the playoffs, Mike. So I think there's a great opportunity for them. That bet would not necessarily be based on them cashing at 20-1, but the opportunity to be able to hedge as you get towards the postseason.